Hey friends, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me here. Today we start a four-part series for yoga for winter. And so if you're in the Northeast like I am, or somewhere where it's cold, we tend to go inside. We tend to want to cozy up on the couch and not move too much. And so I have a whole series of different practices to share with you just to get our bodies moving a little bit, but also to rest because winter is a time for ourselves to rest, to integrate the lessons from the year, and to grow again when spring starts. So today we will be just doing a quick full body stretch just to get our bodies moving a little bit. And we are going to start on our hands and knees. So however that feels comfortable to you, you can take it really wide. Your knees can be wider. Excuse my squeaky floor here. Your knees can be wide if you'd like, or they can be hips width distance apart, whatever feels good for you. Your shoulders directly underneath your elbows and your hands. And we'll just start here by taking some cat-cows. So inhaling, arching the back, opening the belly towards the ground, the head and the hips come up towards the sky. And then we round in, chin comes towards the chest, hips come towards the ground, extending that back body up towards the sky. And reversing here, remembering to inhale as we open, exhale as we close in, rounding in. Inhaling as we open, exhaling, rounding. Take a few more here. Remembering not to rush. Our goal is not to get somewhere, but rather to enjoy where we are. Take your last exhale here as you round in, and then coming back to neutral. We're going to take our toes together and our knees hips width distance apart. If your hands aren't already, go ahead and take them mats width distance apart as well. Our knees are mats width distance too. And we're just going to open our hips a little bit. So our hands, we're going to walk out just slightly. And we're going to bring our hips forward so our shoulders come over our wrists. And we're just going to take some hip circles. You can start whichever direction you'd like. So we're going to lean over to the left here or the right, bringing the hips back towards the heel and then around again. So choose a direction. Whichever feels good for you. You can go clockwise or counterclockwise. As you come forward, really leaning those shoulders over those wrists and bringing the hips around. If this doesn't feel good for your wrists, you can place some blocks underneath them or a blanket. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and reverse your circle. Remembering to breathe here, being conscious of the breath, aware of it, taking deep inhales and exhales. And whenever you feel ready, go ahead and sink the hips back towards the heels. They don't need to touch. And bring the torso and the head towards the ground. Again, also does not need to touch, but just in that direction. And just rest here in extended child's pose for just a few breaths. Remembering to inhale deeply into the low belly, expanding the lungs, and exhaling. Allowing yourself to surrender into the pose. Taking a few moments here to let the hips and the low back and the shoulders and the neck open. When you're ready, press up into your knees, into your hands, and bring your knees in line with your hips. We're going to come standing at the top of our mat. I always like to give people different options here. So you could come into downward facing dog by tucking your toes. Our hands are in line with our shoulders or a little wider, pressing your hips back up towards the sky, and then walking your feet slowly up towards the top of the mat. The other option is to bring one of your feet around, and you can heel toe up forwards just to protect your low back so you don't twinge anything. So we're in a low lunge here, tucking those back toes, pressing up and back to standing towards the top of your mat. If you'd like to use blocks, you're always welcome to here. I always like to leave them here just in case I want to grab them. And when you're ready, you can come up towards standing. So just do what feels good in your body, and that might change every day. So just remember that. There are some days where I like to swing my leg around and go really slow because it's more gentle, or sometimes I like to walk towards the top of my mat. If you're like me and you have a belly and you want to widen your feet as you walk forward from down dog, you can do that too. Make room for yourself. Be kind to yourself. So we'll start here at the top of our mat. Option for your feet to be hips width distance, or you can bring your feet together, toes together, heels will be slightly apart. You choose. I always like to stand hips width distance mostly. And go ahead and roll the shoulders onto your back, really pressing firmly into the feet, coming into a strong Tadasana here. And we're just going to move to open the hips and the legs a little and our upper body. So we'll inhale, the arms come up above the head. Exhale, we bow forward, hinging at the hips. So into a straight spine here. Option to grab your blocks here. Now, again, if you want to make a little bit of room for yourself or your belly, if it's pressing firmly into the top of your thighs, widen your feet and just shimmy your belly in between. Not a big deal, right? Just make room for yourself. So we're in forward fold here, Uttanasana. We'll take a halfway lift using your blocks or hands on the ground. Inhale, spine comes straight, legs straighten. Exhale, forward fold. If your legs feel really tight, bend your knees. Let's take one more. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, we're going to step back as far as we can with our right foot to the back of the mat. And when it feels good, you can lower that back knee down. Option to keep your toes tucked or untucked, whichever feels good. We'll press firmly into those left toes, that left foot, and we'll lift our torso as we lift our arms up. Coming into Anjaneyasana, low lunge here, inhaling. Exhale, cactus the arms down. One more time, inhale, arms up above the head. Exhale, we bring our hands down to blocks or the ground, and we're going to walk them back as we extend our front leg. I can move my block here so you can see that. We're just extending our front leg. We're not dumping into that knee. We're staying engaged here. Our toes are pointed up towards the sky. The foot is engaged. The leg is engaged. Just giving a nice stretch to that hamstring and the hips. Take an exhale here and an inhale. Exhale, we come forward one more time into Anjaneyasana. Arms come up above the head. Exhale, we come back. Ardha Hanumanasana, half split. Inhale, we'll come forward into that low lunge. We're going to tuck those back toes, pick up that back knee, and pop yourself back up to standing. If it's not super graceful, don't worry about it. And we come standing, inhaling, arms up above the head. Exhale, the palms press together, hands to heart center. Take a moment here. Notice what came up for you during our little sequence there. Notice if you can be kind and gentle with yourself. We're just stretching our body here. We're just moving it and getting to know it a little bit and what it needs. We'll take it to the other side now. So we'll inhale, our arms up above the head. Exhale, we bow forward, leading with the heart, flat back. Hands come to blocks or the ground. Inhale, take a halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Option to bend the knees. Inhale, halfway lift. And this time on our exhale, we'll step all the way back, as far back as we can with our left foot. Option to shimmy it back and dropping that back left knee. Moving our blocks back a little if you're using them, or your hands can be framing your front foot. We're going to inhale and lean into that front leg. Arms come up above the head. Exhale, cactus the arms down, opening those shoulders. One more time, inhale. Exhale, cactus the arms down as we bring our hands to frame our foot. And we're going to inhale and open up into Ardha Hanumanasana. So for the most part, our hips are still staying stacked over our knees, so square here. Our hips are square towards the top of the mat, so we want to make sure that we're not popping our right hip forward, we're pulling it back. Okay. Again, our leg is engaged. There's a slight bend in the knee, and our toes are up towards the sky. Take an inhale here. Remember to come to your breath. Straight spine. Gaze is down towards the ground. Just letting your right leg open up. Take an inhale, and then exhale, coming back into that low lunge. We'll take those left toes, pick up that back knee, and give ourselves a little pop towards the front of the mat. We'll inhale, arms up above the head. Exhale, we're going to come right back down where we came from into a forward fold. Take a halfway lift, extending the spine. And this time, we're going to step back into downward facing dog. So option to keep your blocks here, or place your hands outside your feet and just step your right foot back first, planting your hands firmly, and take a step back with your left foot. Remembering that if your hamstrings are tight, to bend your knees. We want our spines to be as straight as possible with the hips up towards the sky. Inhaling here. Press that left foot down into the mat or those toes. We're going to really firmly press into all corners of the hands. And we're going to lift our right toes behind us, coming into a three-legged dog. Doesn't matter how high you go. If it's this high off the ground or anywhere in between, just be there in your body, right? Inhale here. Exhale, we're going to bring our foot down and we're going to place it on the corner edge of the mat here. So about one step up from the back foot, placing it flush against the side of the mat. And then we're going to press into our hands and pick up our left foot and do the same. So now our feet are mats width distance apart. We're going to slowly drag our hands back towards our feet. And we're going to roll up. So keeping the spine long, we're going to just roll up like we have really bad posture, right? Letting the shoulders roll, keeping the chin towards the chest until we get up. We'll inhale the arms up above the head. And exhale, we'll bring them to the hips. The right hand stays on the right hip here. The left arm is going to come up and over towards the right for a nice side body stretch. Inhale here. Exhale and cactus that one arm down. We'll take both hands to our hips, and we're going to, so our feet are still wide, we're going to hinge at the hips. So our hips come back first, our spine stays straight, and we're going to come forward. Sway into one foot and then the other. Option to have your blocks here, of course, right, to bring the ground up to you. So we're bending in one knee and then the other, opening up those hips and legs. And then we're going to begin to walk our hands back towards the top of our mat. Our feet will step back in line with our hips into a downward dog. We're going to take that to the other side. So really make yourself settle into your downward dog, slight bend in the elbows, hands wide. Press firmly into that right foot or toes and lift that back leg up. It doesn't matter how high it goes, three-legged dog. We're going to take that left foot and bring it forward and step it to the edge of our mat. When we are firm there, we'll take our right foot and step. This time we're going to press into our hands and drag them back towards our feet. And when they get there, we're going to slowly start to roll up. There's no rush here. Take your time, leaving your chin towards your chest until your shoulders stack over your hips. And then we inhale our arms up above the head. Exhaling, we'll take our hands down towards our hips. This time we'll leave our left hand on our hip and our right arm will come up and over, leaning towards the left. Take an inhale here and exhale, cactus that arm down. And let's roll down this time. Again, we're going to walk our hands back towards the top of our mat. When our hands get firm and placed where we want them, then we'll walk our feet back and in line with our hips. Taking an inhale here and an exhale. Again, inhale, we're going to place our left foot down again, right foot comes up. We're going to go a little quicker this time. Exhale, right foot comes down towards the edge of the mat, left foot lifts to the edge. We roll up. Inhale, arms up above the head. Exhale, hands to hips. Right arm comes up and over. Exhale, cactus down. This time we're going to do our left arm too. Left arm up and over. Cactus down. We're going to roll back down. And then we're going to walk our hands forward again. Feet in line with the hips. Take a downward dog here just for a moment. Inhale. Exhale. We'll take it to the other side. Inhale, left foot comes up. Walks one step up towards the edge of the mat. Right foot comes up. We drag our hands back as we settle really fully into our feet here for our root. Really rooting down and then pressing up as we roll up. Really getting into that spine, vertebrae by vertebrae. Arms come up above the head. Exhale, cactus down. Hands come to hips. This time, right arm comes up and over. Exhale, cactus. Left arm comes up and over. Exhale, cactus. Both arms up and over. Exhale. We're going to round down again. Walk our hands forward. Feet come in line with hips. Take one more press back into those hips up towards the sky. And then we're going to bring our knees down towards the ground, coming back into a tabletop position. Extend those knees wide if that feels good and toes together, or you can keep your knees together. If you want to make a little room for your belly or your body in between, widen your knees, and we'll just take a child's pose here. Again, bringing the body towards the ground, coming back to the natural rhythm of your breath. Taking a few moments to notice what came up during your practice. Noticing if you can choose kindness for yourself. When you're ready, we're going to press into our hands and come back up into tabletop position. And we can come to seated. Thank you so much for taking a few moments to do a quick full body stretch with me. Just notice how your body feels. We've been on our hands and our wrists for a long time, so maybe taking some wrist circles and just giving your hands a little bit of love, shaking them out before you end your practice. And I invite you to end with a shavasana or a meditation or whatever feels good for you. Thank you, as always, for joining me here and sharing your practice with me. May you be well.